we owe Call of Duty World War II a big apology. No, not for that, but for how much we overreacted. You see, Call of Duty World War II came out around a time that Call of Duty was specifically focused on futuristic aspects of their game. Think exosuits and futuristic guns. So, a majority of the fan base were begging that they return to boots on the ground. And then Call of Duty World War II releases. And it was not received very well. The game received tremendous amounts of hate online, and it was a doozy. Fans were just not pleased with the game, but I'm here to play devil's advocate. Today we're going to discuss how I think we got it all wrong, and how I think that World War II may not be the best game in Call of Duty's catalog, but it is certainly a fun installment in the Call of Duty series. And I will demonstrate that by going through all three of the modes. Let's get on with it. Also, I know I said the next three uploads would be Fallout reviews. I'm not doing New Vegas. It's going to be a glaze fest for an hour and a half, and there are already tons of videos on YouTube that are just like that. So, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Just know I love that game. It is my favorite game of all time, and there are tremendous amounts of videos online that are going to reiterate the exact same points I am. So, go find them. But the Fallout 3 review will be coming out next week, and that is still in the works. With that being said, let's get on to why I think this game is underrated. First, we're going to start by taking a look at the campaign of World War II. Now, before we even get into this, I will fully admit that this story is not very unique. World War II's campaign is like any World War II movie you've pretty much seen. Farm boy from Texas goes to war. But let me just give you the full summary. You are Private Red Daniels, a kid from Texas who just joined the military, got a wife and baby at home. Generic World War II story. The game opens up with you storming Normandy on D-Day. After you storm the beaches of Normandy, you move inland to France, fighting with your squad and the French resistance. Your squad consists of Turner, Zussman, Pearson, Stiles, and Alio. Just gonna be honest, you're probably not gonna remember any of these guys, but Pearson and Zussman. It is after this that the game essentially takes you through major battles across World War II, and eventually Turner, the other guy we mentioned, dies, sacrificing himself. It's a basic World War II story. I still personally enjoy it, and I think you should too. World War II is full of so many memorable battles from World War II that it's actually very interesting to play through them. For example, playing Normandy D-Day, of course, you can never match the feeling of what it was actually like, but it was really nerve-wracking to actually play it. Like seeing all of your fellow American soldiers being gunned down immediately after stepping off the boat is one of the most horrific and surreal moments in gaming, I would say. And again, that may be controversial to some people, but to see all of these people just gunned down almost immediately, or if not that, drowning around you, is very eye-opening, to say the least. Also, there's something about the basic World War II story of like farm boy goes to war that just works for me. Like, yes, of course it's basic, and there really is no character tie to our main character, if I'm being completely honest. But again, to me, that isn't the main point. I think the main point of World War II is to just play through so many of these historical battles in the most badass way possible. Also, I really like the spy mission from World War II. If you're not familiar, in this spy mission, you go undercover to infiltrate a German-occupied Paris. We're essentially sneaking in to gather intel and disrupt German plans. I personally love this mission because it's not very linear. There are actual multiple choices you can do and multiple dialogue choices you can choose from in this mission. That is not commonly found in Call of Duty and is really well done in this mission specifically. Especially when you're talking to like the head guy. Can't remember his name right now. I'll flash it on screen. But it's very tense when you have to sit down and actually talk to the guy. Now, before we move on to the next section of this video, which will cover the zombies, I also want to say that people say that Call of Duty does the World War II thing very often, and yes, that argument can be made towards Call of Duty Vanguard in my opinion, but this game released 11 years after the last Call of Duty World War II game, which would have been Call of Duty 3. So in my opinion, a modern take on World War II from Call of Duty was not a bad choice. Was execution the greatest? Not really, but again, in terms of the gameplay, it's a very fun campaign. Anyways, let's just get on to the zombies. This section will be very quick, I promise. I think this mode utterly sucks. I remember playing it a couple times with a buddy of mine. There was some enjoyment out of the Easter egg, and that's stretching it. I think most of the enjoyment come from playing with my friend. I could have done that with probably any other game. But yes, this section is very quick. I'm not going to hold you too long. Yeah, it sucks, dude. Let's just go on to multiplayer. Next, we're going to talk about the multiplayer of Call of Duty World War II. I want to start this section off the same way I started the first section, which was this is not the most original Call of Duty multiplayer they've ever come up with. It is essentially the same basic COD formula, and at this point it still worked, in my opinion. But again, it's not very original. I also just want to go ahead and clear up the cons I have with this multiplayer. Yes, headquarters does in fact suck. Yes, it is also just a petty cash grab attempt from Activision. And no, I will not be saying anything that I think redeems this mechanic in the game, because again, it is simply a petty cash grab from Activision, and I'm not down with that, brother. Not my cup of tea. Also, the basic training system, it sucked ass. That's where they give you a band. It's not really a character band. Essentially, divisions are like your main perk, whereas basic training is like your minor perk. Also, incendiary bullets fucking suck. If you played this game, you know that. That shit sucks. Now, I also will take this time to inform the viewer that it is at this point that just a year prior to World War II releasing, Infinite Warfare had released. We as a community were clamoring for them to go back to boots on the ground because Infinite Warfare's multiplayer, put very bluntly, fucking sucked. Now, am I arguing they went back to the basics we so badly wanted? Absolutely not. The perk system's not there, and that in and of itself is already not back to basics, but we did get boots on the ground, and essentially everything else about a Call of Duty game, except for like the bullshit headquarters and basic training. Also, I know everybody's probably going to hate this. I kind of like the divisions. Okay. Of course, I do not prefer this to the normal perk system, but I also think it removes crutch perks, which kind of makes you play in different ways. For example, I primarily played with a sniper in this game. And most people who played with the sniper probably would have went with the mountain division. It was quite literally the division built for snipers. But I continuously got killed with incendiary bullets. So I personally used the fire resistance division. But then sometimes I would play with like a submachine gun. And the benefits of the airborne division were just too good to pass up on when using a submachine gun. Again, I understand most people aren't the biggest fans of the division. And again, I much prefer the regular perk system. But it was nice to see Call of Duty actually try something different in that aspect. Lastly, my opinion could be very biased on the multiplayer here, solely because I have so many good memories on this multiplayer. For example, me and one of my best friends would play on UMG tournaments, entering for free just to play in them on Call of Duty World War II. Or when we would run like pistol-only challenges or sniper-only challenges. Lots of challenges on World War II. I personally just have so many good memories with the multiplayer. It's one of my favorite Call of Duty multiplayers ever. I know I said lastly, but before I go, I just want to mention some very great maps in this multiplayer that do not get talked about enough. And it's basically just going to be a lightning round. I'm just going to list them off. Not going to go too into detail. London Docks, Gustav Cannon, USS Texas, Gibraltar, Valkyrie, Aiken, I'm not sure how you spell that. These maps are designed very well in my opinion and are forgotten with time. I think it's because Call of Duty has so many issues now. So many issues that we get caught up in what they need to fix now rather than what they did great in the past. Let's just go ahead and head to the conclusion. Let's wrap this thing up. In conclusion, I think you're all wrong. All jokes aside, I think Call of Duty World War II is very underrated. I think when stacked next to some of the greats, it doesn't stand. But also when stacked up against some of the worst games in the series, it's definitely better. I think Call of Duty World War II is a perfectly upper mid-tier game for Call of Duty. Of course, it wasn't everything that Call of Duty fans wanted, but there really aren't many Call of Duty games that are. And yes, I may be slightly biased because I grew up on the game. But you know what? You should have played it with your friends, and maybe you would have had just as much fun, okay? Anyway, that sums up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and video next week. Promise, we're consistent now. Anyway, take care, guys. Really quick, I do have Fallout 1 gameplay, and I am playing through it now. I don't know if I'm going to actually do a video on this one. Mainly because I fucking suck at it. I'm still getting the hang of it. Not really fully acquainted with it yet. I got a couple of guys teaching me how to play it. They really fucking suck as well. So again, I don't know if I'm going to upload that video, but if you guys do want to see that, please let me know in the comment section below. And, yeah. Have a good one.